Michael and Wendy Darling are brother and sister, and as often happens, their relationship isn't exactly smooth. One day, Michael doesn't come home from school, and sometime later, the Darling household receives a phone call. An unknown voice announces that Michael will soon be taken to Neverland, the land of eternal childhood. Desperate to find her brother, Wendy follows the trail of other missing children, and eventually learns that Michael has been kidnapped by a disfigured maniac, Peter Pan. And if she doesn't hurry, her brother really will end up in a place from which no one returns. Someday, years from now, the story of Reese Frake Waterfield, Scott Chambers, also known as Scott Jeffrey, and their company Jagged Edge Productions will likely end up in film textbooks. After cutting their teeth on third-rate horror movies, which Chambers produced and directed for ITN Studios, Chambers teamed up with Frake Waterfield, and the two hit the ground running so fast it's almost enviable. In 2021, Jagged Edge released 12 films, and in 2022, a whopping 18, at least a third of which were directed by Chambers himself. But none of that would have mattered if, in 2023, Chambers and Frake Waterfield hadn't released Winnie the Pooh, Blood, and Honey, a film nearly identical to their other works with one key difference. The killers were characters from A.A. Milne's famous novel, which had entered the public domain in January 2023. The movie rode a wave of hype, but then things got interesting. Chambers and Frake Waterfield decided it was time to shift from quantity to quality, and with the sequel, they delivered a solid slasher. One that, while not on par with the genre's best, at least didn't look like an amateur project in comparison. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 once again grossed far beyond its budget, so Frake Waterfield and Chambers announced the creation of their so-called Twisted Childhood universe, a series of horror films featuring other famous fairy tale characters, all interconnected by shared events and characters. The first wave included greenlit horrors about a malevolent Bambi, a sinister Pinocchio, and the eternal boy himself, Peter Pan, which hit screens first. And to put it briefly, it feels like this new cinematic universe might actually have a bright future. That said, don't expect a miracle. This is still very much a B-movie. But the growth here isn't just in quality, it's in the creator's self-awareness. Yes, Chambers, who wrote and directed Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, firmly stands on the shoulders of genre giants, borrowing from, or outright copying, films like The Terrifier, Jeepers Creepers, and It. And sure, the script and editing could have used more polish, but at the same time, this is a film that first has a distinct directorial style, second, clearly understands genre rules, and third, and most importantly, for once it actually feels like it was made not just because it would sell, but because its creators genuinely care about what they're doing. This is a labor of love, a little rough around the edges, derivative, and overlong. But hey, that's how it turned out. Compared to what Chambers and Frake Waterfield were making just 3 years ago, the progress is undeniable. Give them a few more years and who knows? By the next phase of the Twisted Childhood universe, we might just get a real genre masterpiece.